But it's going to be a power packed, about a half an hour to 45-minute deal, talking all about how to make $10,000 a month. No fluff, no stuff maybe you've heard in the past. There might be one or two things because I consistently do them, but it's going to be fresh information. This is, again, going to be for primarily students, but again, there's going to be a couple people online that are not SRA students, and so they're going to be on here. So I want to ask if you would to remain muted. If you can do it yourself, I don't think you can, but remain muted. And then if you have questions, please respond through the chat. I would love to answer your questions at the end. Okay, so let me get through the presentation, but give me some questions. I would love to help you out in that regard. Okay, so hopefully we're all good with this. Let me go back to sharing my screen. I apologize for that break of noise, whatever that was. Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Let's rock and roll. I tell you what, if you can hear me, hit something in the chat for me. Say something in the chat to say yes if you can hear me. Make sure I'm not talking to myself. Okay, gotcha. Coming in, good. Anybody else? All right, good. Coming in, I can hear. Sweet. Anybody else? I assume everyone else can hear me. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, $10,000 a month training. This is hot and fresh off the press because you guys know September of this year was my 3rd-year anniversary, and this is not to get into my story and what I went through and all that, because this is not a sales thing tonight, okay? This is strictly information. Hopefully it's going to benefit you. I can tell you the areas we're going to cover. We're going to cover a winning mindset. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that because it's not to be philosophical and inspirational and all that stuff tonight and roo ha ha and that kind of stuff. But I want to give you 3 quick points on that. I'll spend about 2 minutes and then I'll move on to the meat of it. And I know that's why you're here, for the meat. Then we'll get into the process and percentages, okay? And what you need to do in the process and what are the percentages breakdown. What are those breakdowns of how many calls you need to make to get so many tours, move-ins, etc. I'll go through all of that. It's real simple. It may be a little different as you get more acclimated into the business. I've been in for 3 years now, longer with the community, but my own business for 3 years. And so I can tighten those up a little bit, but especially for newbies, or if you've been in it for less than a year, these percentages will work for you. The final thing I want to talk about is what if you don't have leads? If you don't have leads, you're not doing these 7 things. 2 of them are going to be very familiar. They come out of the academy. The other 5 might catch you by surprise, or they might just, be a reminder. But you need to do these 7 things if you want to get leads. So let's get into it. You guys like my picture of my lovely wife over there? That's a picture of her actually in a park drinking some wine. So we've expanded a little bit, probably since last time we talked. Let me take 20 seconds to tell you about this. Our website looks a little bit different maybe than the last time you've seen it. We're able to offer monthly payments now. We have a finance company that is working with us to finance people, at least with a 580 FICO score, and they got to make at least $30,000, $35,000 a year, etc. The webinar is being changed. You can still click on it, but right now it's a 1-hour deal. And I'm changing that to a 15-minute training video that I think would be more effective because it is a long 1-hour deal. And I get bored sometimes watching the things. I'm sure other people do as well. All right, let's hop into it. Winning mindset. Here's the meat of it. Again, I'll spend 2 minutes on this. It's not to be inspirational, but this is the very thing that I do every day. And have a winning mindset. And I don't say I'm perfect by no means, but we do a lot of business. I mean, many of you know we're expanding to Vegas. We got billboards hopping up next Monday, 5 all over town. We're the only referral agency to ever do this in this area. I hope it works. I don't know. I'll let you know if it does work. We do all kinds of things that are different than the mainstream or what other referral agents do. And I think that sets us apart. But have a winning mindset. Number 1, when you roll out of bed, man, you got to be filled with gratitude. All right. We're alive. If I would offer you tonight, hey, I'll give you $1 million, but you're not waking up tomorrow, but you can have nothing and wake up and live for a long time. We all know we would pick, right? We wouldn't pick the money. So you got to be moving in gratitude. What is your, your why, as far as your family and your house, your car, or just money in general? But be extremely grateful for what you have. Okay, so do that. The second thing is, this is what I do. This is not what I'm encouraging you to do, but it's exactly what I do. I look for problems. I do exactly what others don't do. People wake up in the morning, they usually run away from problems. They gravitate to the positive, right? To what's going to work out. That's why people, when they got a difficult phone call to make, they don't do that first thing in the morning typically. They kind of wait until the end of the day, right? Because they don't want to deal with it. I deal with them all at the beginning. I look for problems because I see myself, which I am, an entrepreneur, and the more problems I solve, the more money I make. The more hands I shake, the more money I make. I look for problems because I can solve them. You'd be surprised when you're looking for things, and I'm not talking about just waking up for, like, if you got bills or physical problems and things like that, but I'm just talking about situations people encounter and deal with on a daily basis. How do you help them? I'm right now getting ready to broker a deal of an RCFE owner who's selling her house and her business. I brought in a real estate couple friend of mine, and they're going to do the real estate portion, and I'm going to do the sell of the business. That is looking for problems. Is that in the placement side of things? No, that's looking for a problem. And she has a problem. She goes, how do I get, what's the evaluation of my business and all that? So I've done all that for her. So look for problems. Third thing is, get a lot of no's. Make your life simple. Sometimes people are so scared and they're fearful of getting rejected and turned down. You've got to change that mindset. You've got to get a lot of no's. And if that is your goal, for the day, to get a lot of no's, you're going to get your goal, right? People are going to say no left and right. But what it does psychologically is you don't take it personally. You're out to get no's. But then the math is on your side. The percentages are on your side. The more no's you get, you're bound to get a yes. And that's why we do the level of business that we're doing. Many of you know we're bringing on a social service director. Just talked to her again today. She's starting January 10th of next year. My attorney's doing all the paperwork. She's getting the salary, benefits, and we're moving forward with that. Vegas, all that. So 3 years ago, none of this was a reality, right? None of it was a reality. I'm finding out, though, if I can be honest with you, people now are looking at us like, oh, yeah, it's easy for you to do that because you've been in business for so long. It's like, God dang, I've been in business only for 3 years. That's it. I mean, we work hard, my wife and I, so people think we've been in business longer, but we really haven't. But it's these three things, and I'll stop here. I told you 2 minutes. We'll get to the meat of it. But wake up with gratitude. Whatever it is, man, I don't care if life sucks right now. Wake up, you have life. Look for problems. Look for things you can solve. Be a problem solver. Get more money that way and go after a whole bunch of no's. And that'll motivate you. And every time you get rejected, you're like, hey, I got my no. And it just does something different on the inside. Okay? All right. Let's get to it. We're going to talk about the process, the percentages. This is what you came for, along with what to do if you don't have leads. First of all, the math is the path. I'm a firm believer in this. You have got to understand the math in your business. What are you aiming for? If you're not aiming at anything, you'll hit nothing, right? The target's got to be X, whatever X is. Some of us, I've talked to a lot of students. We're in 20 different states now, and I've talked to a lot of students, and sometimes they just go, I just want to get a lot of move-ins. And I'm like, well, how many move-ins? And they're like, man, I just like do a handful, just as many as I can. Well, that's not clarity. You've got to have clarity to move forward to hit your target, right? So the math is the path. Check this out. Your monthly goals, we're talking about $10,000 to move in, right? Your monthly goal is $10,000. Now, it may be higher, lower, I don't know. I'm just picking 10 because that's a very obtainable figure target to hit. I do it in 2 days sometimes. Sometimes it takes me a week to do that, but I still do it in a lot less than 30 days. So if I can do it in a lot less than 30 days, you can do it in a month, right? And if you think it's too big, then make all this math as the path thing for 2 months. I don't care, but I'm using that because it's very realistic. If you make $10,000 a month, obviously, you're going to make $120,000 a year gross. So that's where you would be basically for part-time work, because the average referral fee is $4,000. Now you might be thinking I'm mistaken because you look at the top left and say $3,000 to move in. Well, the $3,000 to move in, I put that out there because that is the national average for move-ins, is $3,000. I'm finding in my territory, and maybe in yours, especially if you're anywhere near a big city, which I live right next to Fresno, which basically you call it Fresno. It's a little town called Singer. Fresno is like 500,000 people, so it's not really that big, but our average is right about 4,000 lately. Like the one that is moving in tomorrow, she's paying 4,000 for her husband. The one that toured today and moving in 2 days is paying $6,600. So it's a lot more. Now I do have some that pay 3,000, 35, but I'm kind of finding out over time the average of all my residents is closer to that 4,000 range. So if that's you, put that in there. If it's not, don't worry about it. Put over whatever figure you want. Put 3,000. But if you got 4, how many move-ins do you need to get to $10,000 a month? Now, this is real basic, I know, but I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many students I talk to don't have a clue. Now, it's not that they don't know math and they can't figure this out. So, but they don't think this way. You've got to think this way. It's only going to take 2.5 move-ins. So essentially 2 full move-ins at private rooms and a half of a shared room. That's all you need. Okay. Now we look at the process. Prospects and leads. This is not the topic to get into, prospects and leads, even though I'll tell you the 7 things you need to do if you're not getting any leads in a second. But prospects and leads, right? Prospects, people that are breathing, people that you talk to, but they have no need of your service. Prospects. Leads, people that are breathing, people that also have a need of your service. That is a lead. They get qualified, right? So it qualified. The nice thing about our business model, doesn't cost anybody anything. Now it costs them to move, I know, but not with us. So they can be a lead if they're in need of your service. Now, what you got to do is get that lead to a phone call. And I'm getting ready to get some percentages, so stay with me. I know this is basic, but I want to get to something in a second that's often overlooked or left out altogether. And I think it's left out altogether. Most of you will do this. You'll get a lead and then you get the phone call. Now, I'm a firm believer in that because that's the way the big national companies do it, A Place for Mom and all that. If you've never been on A Place for Mom's website, do yourself a favor and go on there. Go through the process of making up some bogus information about you've got a mom named Susie. Right now. And what they do is they get you on the phone. Well, see, A Place for Mom, I don't like their business model, but they're some pretty smart people, right? They've been doing it a lot longer and they understand the game. So phone calls, you got to get them onto the phone. But here's the thing that people are either overlooking or leaving out altogether. Again, I think it's the latter. Zoom meetings. I've got this in the academy. Zoom meetings. All right. That is creating value, is presenting your company, and it's also doing the virtual tours. It's in the academy. You've got to do not go around this area. I'm telling you, it will hurt your percentages. What a lot of people try to do is they go, well, all right, I got my lead. Let's get them on the phone. Let's just send them out with some physical tours. Or I can go with them, meet them, but I don't really need to do that right there because I can get all that done in person. I'm telling you, this right here, the Zoom meeting with presenting your company and the virtual tours creates so much value. And not only so much value, but when you do the virtual tour online, in lieu of, before you go on the physical tour, you iron out a lot of things that you don't have to go through the physical tour with, meaning they'll see things in a virtual tour they like, they don't like, what's a pro, what's a con, mom would really enjoy that backyard. Mom would hate that small bathroom. You don't need to go through that in a physical tour. You can get that done in a physical tour. I mean, the virtual tour, right? So you got tours that leads to move-ins. Now, if you're not doing any move-ins a month and you're trying to get to $10,000 a goal per month, well, you got to start with 1. But right now with this math here, if your average referral fee is 4,000, you need 2.5. So, but you want 1. There's the one beside the MI, the move-in. On average, and this is based on my experience, based on my calls with my students, where they are, and I've kind of averaged this out. I'm really a math guy, right? I wasn't that great in English, but math, I was pretty decent and I just enjoyed it. So I do a lot of things with this. So this is kind of really up my alley. If you're going to get a move in, you're going to need 2 tours. Now, why is that important to know? Because if you have 1 tour, you may or may not get that move in, right? I mean, realistically, you might get it, but you might not. But I guarantee you, if you get 2 tours, the chances, it's a greater percentage of chance you're going to get that move in. Zoom meetings, 4 Zoom meetings. Let me come back to why people are overlooking this. I think in my rationale, why people are overlooking this Zoom meeting deal is they go, it's a waste of time. Let me circumvent, let me expedite this, let me go through it, lead, phone call, get to the tour. The Zoom meeting, because of all what I just told you previous, will take some time. It will take 30 minutes to an hour. I'm just going to use an hour because it could. If they have a lot of questions, if you're giving a good virtual tour online where you go back to the virtual tour, I've told you guys before, and point out the pros and cons based on data they have given you, you do that, then yeah, it's going to take about an hour. And people don't want to do that. And they go, well, I don't need to do it. I'm going to show you where you're missing the boat in a second. It takes about 6 phone calls, give or take, to get 4 Zoom meetings. To 2 tours, 1 move in. So 6 phone calls, you have to ask yourself, if you want to get 2.5 move-ins in a month based on what the information we got on the screen, can you get 6 people on the phone and talk to them that are leads that are interested in assisted living? You get some small wins, initiate some phone contact, and I'm gonna go through with it in a second, who you need to call and do some stuff. But when you make your phone calls, man, make it easy on yourself. You get no's, but 6 quality phone calls with people that will lead to 1 move in. Now, the percentage is this. If you get 2 tours, you get a move in, so 50%, right? Zoom to move in is 25%. Now, again, why people don't want to do the Zoom meetings, a waste of time. You realize 4 Zoom meetings equals a move in. You're getting paid $1,000 an hour for those Zoom meetings. How important are those Zoom meetings now? They are crucial. I believe if you skip the Zoom meeting part, delete it from the process, your move-in percentage will be lower because you won't be presenting enough value. Again, go back and watch that video in the academy. If you need more help and assistance, let me know. I'll be glad to answer some questions regarding the Zoom meetings, because you can probably tell the tone of my voice is that important. I get them on a Zoom meeting. Now, there's some occasions where it doesn't work because they don't have internet. They don't know how to get online. It's, they're at work all day and they don't get home until midnight. Whatever, right? There's always an exception to the rule. But if you make it part of your process and make it extremely valuable, you'll be able to present that value to them and they will understand. And I'm telling you, it's going to make those tours and move-ins a lot easier, because most of your referral agents, at least the ones I know, I don't know everybody around the country, don't do this very well. Some have actually gotten away from it now. Remember, I back in 2018, I started my company. I was the first one around here doing virtual tours. Nobody else was doing it. They were like, why would you do a virtual tour? Just get a lead on a phone call and go meet them for a tour. And I'm like, man, I think we had value here, so we did that kind of thing. Then they started doing it because of COVID. Now we're able to go into some of the communities as long as you're double vaxxed, got a mask, and if you're going to skilled nursing, PPE and everything else. But now they're kind of getting away from the Zoom meetings again because they can go back the way they were doing it. And it's actually making my job a lot easier because I'm still doing it the way I'm doing it, in Zoom meetings and virtual tours. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go to the next one. What if you don't have leads? This is crucial. This is probably what you came for. The first 2 will be very familiar. The next 5 may or may not. But these are the things that you need to look at wholeheartedly. I mean, with a microscope. If you're not getting leads in this hour and day where there's an abundance of seniors. It is so funny. I was talking to an RCFE owner the other day. Matter of fact, it was yesterday. And she got telling me, she goes, Matt, she goes, the reason you do so good, you're a go-getter. She goes, but I know a couple people that were referral agents just last year, and they don't do it anymore because they said there's no leads, nobody's moving. And I find that to be hilarious because I think everybody's moving. I mean, I'm busy. How do you not get leads? Well, they're probably not doing these things. Number one, if you're not getting leads, you need to increase your social media activity. I think I told you before in other coaching meetings and different things, I struggle with this now. It was easy for me at the beginning. The reason I struggle with it, not because I'm shy and I don't like doing it. I actually like doing it. It's actually, a nice little hobby for me. I kind of like it. But I'm so busy, it's hard to do that. I'll get caught throughout my whole day. Look at my activity. Go back and look. If you follow me on Instagram or, Facebook, LinkedIn, you can follow me when I post. Like today, I don't think I posted anything today. I was so freaking busy. So that's not an excuse. I need to make sure I do that. But I tell you one thing, at the beginning, when I was not getting a whole lot of leads, that made me different. I was on social media all the time. I was banging it out. Matter of fact, I just got a lead yesterday from a gentleman I talked to who contacted me from LinkedIn. He contacted me 30 days ago about his dad. He was concerned about his dad. He still lives at home, but thinking he needs care. Well, then he reached out to me yesterday, and I thought it was about his dad. He goes, "Hey, this is David." I say, "Hey, David." We got talking. He goes, "Hey, this is not about my dad. Actually, my dad's doing pretty good. He's kind of improved. But I got a friend here I'm with, and he needs to go to a residential. He didn't say residency. He said he needs to go to a care home. Can you help him?" Absolutely. So I got a lead from that. Social media. Just because you don't get a whole lot of engagement, I don't get a whole lot of engagement. I don't have a whole lot of followers. But I wish I could show you, like, if you don't have a business Instagram account or something like that, get one, because what it'll do is it'll show you who visited your profile, who clicked on your link. It won't tell you who, but it'll put numbers, right? 3 people did it. 2 people did this. And man, I get off on that stuff. It's funny because I'll have maybe 2 likes, no comments, and like 8 to 10 people went to my profile and 3 people went to my website. You see what I mean? So increase your social media activity. The second thing that's going to be very familiar, if you've gone through the academy, which I hope and trust you have, you need to go back and visit How to Get a Paying Client in 7 Days. Do not let COVID be something that causes you not to do this. Can't go in communities. I hear a lot of excuses. I don't let excuses be in your vocabulary. Don't allow it. Don't accept it. Be hard on yourself. But go through that kind of thing. Now, if you do have some restrictions in your area, I don't know how you have any more restrictions than I do in California, but if you do, then abide by those, abide by the law and just, adjust, adapt. It's kind of like anything in life. If you're really not sure how to do it, man, I'm not telling you to fake it till you make it, but just start moving, do it, get going. So you need to go through that kind of thing. How to Get a Paying Client in 7 days. Don't forget, go to independent communities. I get leads that way. Independent communities don't have AL. They might have some AL assistants, or they got an in-home care service up on the 3rd floor. That's a satellite office, but I still get leads from them. Go to just AL communities that don't have memory care. Get leads from them. Residential care homes, if you have them in your area, go to them, especially the ones that stay full all the time, because they're on Facebook and Instagram and all that. But guess what? They can only have 6 people in their home. So if they're actively engaged on social media and they stay full, where does those leads go when people call them? It should be going to you. Now you might say, well, I reached out to them. They already work with somebody. You know what? Figure it out. That's the kind of person you want to get to know. It's just all about relationships. And I have some of those. I don't have all the homes in my area. Obviously, if I did, I'd probably have 15 people on my team working, right? But I do got a number of them that reach out to me. And matter of fact, the one that moves tomorrow came that way from a residential care home. That's how I got that lead. Okay. The one that's moving in 2 days, the $6,600 one, lives in a large community. They need more care. And she got talking to somebody. I don't know who she talked to, but she talked to somebody, and somebody got my name and number. They could have Googled me. I have no idea. But those are the 2 things. Now, third thing. This may seem so obvious, but I can't believe how many people don't do this. Just think outside the box and do something different. I'm telling you that there is 0 traffic on the road less taken. You've probably heard that saying before. I didn't come up with it. But man, it is so true. People in my industry, in this area, all want to pass out freaking hard candies and brochures, and I don't do any of that stuff. I go the other way. Social media, videos. You know, we're getting ready to do our billboard starts on Monday. 5 billboards throughout the area, doing something different. It's an expense, I know. It's going to cost, yes. If I don't get leads from it, it's going to tank and we're going to lose money. I understand that. But it's thinking outside the box. Do what you got to do. I don't know if you know this or not, but I like cigars. I could be outside. I'm telling you, tonight I'll have a cigar and I'll be sitting out in the patio and my wife and I might have a glass of wine, talk a little bit. She might be inside doing something. I'll spend some time alone, just kind of kicking back. And I can guarantee you 95% of the time, my mind starts going about the business and what can we do different. I'm always breaking something, not really in actuality, but you know what I mean? Like some people will just wait for something to break and they try to fix it. I don't do that. I break it and go do something different with it, trying to make it better. And that's really been giving us an edge. And so I'm really trying to share with you what has been giving us an edge. And this is what's given us an edge, is thinking outside the box and going completely a different direction. You've got to stretch yourself. You've got to come to a place where you live, eat, breathe this industry. I think about it. I go to bed at night, my eyes are open, and I'm thinking about it. You might think I'm just being facetious or exaggerating. You can talk to my wife and anybody else that knows me. Well, they might not know about the bed thing. She don't want to sleep with me in bed, but you know what I'm talking about. People that know me, I'm talking about it all the time. I'm constantly sharing vision with people. I mean, the billboard thing, I told everybody. And when the billboard thing comes out on Monday, which will probably go out Tuesday, because I don't know what time they're going to be up, but guess what we're going to do on Tuesday? My wife and I are going out. She's going to videotape me. I'm going to go underneath these billboards and tell everybody on social media where they are. Why am I going to do that for? Because it's drawing attention to my business. It may seem like being loud, being obnoxious, you're talking too much, Matt. You know what? I've heard all that teaching before. Now, I understand you don't want to be obnoxious. You want to, be polite, be sensitive to people. But you know what? Majority of my life, I listen to people, oh, you don't want to rock the boat. Don't go too far out in the deep end. You got to play it safe. You got to kick, hold back. No, think outside the box. Do something different. You may have an idea one night. You're smoking a cigar, having a glass of wine, or sipping on grape juice, or eating a steak, or by yourself, and you might come up with an idea I've never told you before. And you go, man, you know what? That may work around here. The billboard thing I thought about a year ago. What did I do? I talked myself out of it. Stuff ain't gonna work. And then a year later, I'm riding around, I'm catching myself thinking about it again, because my daughter's boss owns 5 companies, and one of his companies, they have 10 billboards all around the area. And I got thinking, man, how many people have billboards around this area? And it's like, I never see it says, rent me, lease this billboard. So either people are just losing money or they are making money. So I'm going to do it. Obviously, if we break even, I'm going to continue to do it because it's expanding our brand. That's another thing you do when you think outside the box, doing something different. You're making yourself unique, different. You're expanding your brand. Do not be like everyone else. If you are, you'll be just like everyone else and doing 1 or 2 a month. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Number 4, I'm getting off my little soapbox there. Number 4, network with realtors and insurance companies who deal with long-term care. All right. This has been powerful for me. Not the long-term care, because I do have a student, Angie, I think you're on tonight. She's probably the expert in this. She's probably done more long-term care students than I'll ever do. It's amazing. But I did hear her story, and I heard somebody else talk about it, and I got talking with another student. This was probably about, I want to say 2 months ago. I'm bad with time, around 2 months. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to reach out to somebody who deals with long-term care and see if I can kind of partner with them and, and make this whole thing where we help seniors. Because I see ourselves more than just a placement company. So I reached out to one of my friends. He does insurance. He goes, yeah, I do long-term care. I didn't even know. So now we're hooking up. We're going to do some events. We're doing some different things together with his clients, my clients, and help a whole lot of seniors. Realtors have been extremely beneficial to me. Okay, I told you about the deal earlier. I'm going to broker the sale of a RCFE. Realtors come into play in that category. But they also do a lot of, well, they didn't do it so much during COVID, I know, but they typically do a lot of, showing off houses. What do they call this? I forgot what they call them, but they meet on Sundays from 1 to 5 and that kind of thing. But they're around a lot of people. They network with a lot of people, right? So if you can get some really good realtors that are super active, super successful in their industry, they probably can put you in contact with certain people. All right. And look to do them a favor, look to help them out, bring them a lead, that kind of thing. So those are two areas that really have helped us a lot. Now, I've actually got move-ins from the realtors, either their loved ones, more specifically, or people they know. The insurance with the long-term care, that's kind of too young, too new, 2 months old, where I had a conversation, and that's kind of in the infancy stage of doing that. But that'll help you out. If you're not getting leads, you need to do some of this stuff, okay? You need to increase your outreach. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do billboards. The only reason I threw that up there is because I'm doing it, okay? But Google ads, partnerships. Let me tell you about the partnership real quick. I did a teaching on this not long ago, 3 or 4 months ago, something like that. But I'm partnering with an RCFE owner right now. She owns 4 homes, soon to be 5. She has a silent partner that will do hospice care, palliative care. We have Medi-Cal in California, so just think about it as being Medicaid. But they're going to be able to help low-income seniors and their families with hospice and palliative care at no charge going through Medi-Cal. We are striking up a deal where when I give her leads, I get paid for that. Expand. Do things like this because you want to help seniors, right? That is one of the reasons why I think you're in the business. I mean, one of the reasons that we're all in the business, obviously, is we can make a lot of money. And I'm not ashamed to say that, okay? We live on a freaking economical planet. I mean, it takes money. You know my story, and I ain't gonna bore you with it, but I've been in a place where I didn't have any money, and I'm at a place now where I have money. And I'm telling you, you can do a lot more when you have money. It's plain and simple, But partnerships, think about people you talk to that are, I told you about the hospice company, I help them out, but this is a totally different area because it's going to be helpful for people. Because I run across a lot of low income residents. I deal a lot with skilled nursing. I think I've told you about 85% of my clientele come from skilled nursing. I'm trying to reverse that and get that percentage lower because I see that as a threat to my business. Because of those social workers, social workers, if they decide to quit tomorrow, they decide to go do something else, I'm screwed, right? My percentage keeps going down and down. So I want to do the billboard thing, do this other partnership thing, and pile on that way, hopefully bring down the skilled nursing percentage to at least 50, maybe below 50. That'd be nice. Okay. But increase your outreach. You know what it is. I'm not trying to tell you to go get billboards. I'm not trying to tell you to spend thousands of dollars doing that or spending hundreds of dollars on Google ads, but just be creative. Going back to that thinking outside the box, you'll think of something and then just increase your outreach. Think of it as increasing your activity, like you're increasing your social media activity, increase your network, expand your net, expand your whole horizon so you can get more and help people. Okay. Number 6, there's only 7 of them. Take risks, make mistakes, move forward. All right. This is the hallmark of our business. We started our business in 2018. I had to leave the company, start from nothing, didn't have much, could have lost everything, took a big risk. 4 months later, my wife leaves her job as an office manager of a physician's office, and we've never looked back. But along the way, we've made some mistakes, but you move forward. Along the way, you got some bumps in the road, but you move forward. Get an adjustment on your car, get an adjustment on your business vehicle, and move forward. Speaking of business vehicle, that's another thing I'm thinking outside the box. Give you an example. What I'm going to do, hopefully, if I find the right deal by December, I want to have a complete van. A complete van? What does that mean? I'm going to have a van, a cargo van, and I'm getting the whole damn thing wrapped. And it's going to look like my billboard. So I'm going to have a stationary billboard all over the city, Fresno and Clovis, 2 big areas in this area where I live. And then I will also have a van wrapped that's saying the same thing when I'm driving all over the place. And I want it to be a cargo van Because again, thinking outside the box, not just advertising, but I have a lot of clients, i.e. tomorrow, the lady needs a Hoyer lift move. She needs a hospital bed move. So we got to go through a company in town, and the company in town, they mean well, but they're just, I don't know. They just don't get the job done too efficiently. It just seems like it takes 2 or 3 days. They can never tell you what time they're coming. It's just a pain in the butt, right? So I got a lot of people that are moving to residential care homes that might need some of those things moved, or they got 10, 15 boxes of clothes, whatever. Guess what I'm going to do? Give them a sign a little something, a waiver that I'm not responsible with the, I'm do my best to keep it in good condition, but it's going to be in the van, right? So get that sign, roll the van up. They can put stuff in the van. I roll it over there. They take it out. They put it in there, but I'm moving that van around wherever I go, and I'm hanging out with my clients. What do you think my clients are going to say to other people? They're going to tell everybody, right? I told you before a long time ago, and I think I may have mentioned it maybe 3 or 4 months ago too, is that when you get here's a tip, pro tip. If you get a high-end client, and I mean high-end, whatever high-end is to you, high-end client around here is 65 and above. So if I get somebody like the 6600, who do you think they talk to? Where do you think they go? What you want to do is you want to wine and dine them. Now you want to treat everyone the same. I'm not saying treat the people like I got one lady today I probably won't be able to do anything with. The guy can afford, let's see, $970. And the guy was a psych patient 6 months ago, tearing things off walls and 5150. I mean, no RCFE is going to take him, but the hospital called me and we're working through some things, right? But I gotta lead that way. But you want to do that. I was telling an RCFE owner, a friend of mine, a couple of days ago, she has 2 homes, and she was wondering, and her home stayed full, but she was wondering, man, how can I make it more profitable? And I told her, I said, you know what? I'm not in your business. I wouldn't want to be in your business because I wouldn't want to go try hire caregivers. I don't know where they find them and all that stuff, right? I'm not licensed as an RCFE owner, so I don't want to go take the classes and do all that stuff either. But I told her, I said, I would do this. I would treat your 5 rooms. What they typically do is they have 6 residents, right? A care home. So they got 5 rooms. They typically have a private for the 4 average rooms. And then the master, they typically split that off into a shared. I told her I wouldn't do that. If I was you, I wouldn't do that. What I would do is treat the 4 rooms as private like you already do. Make sure you don't fall below $4,500 on those. That pays for your expenses. And then I would charge no less than $6,500 for my master, but I would be extremely picky about that one, and that client would be wine and dine. And I'm telling you, if she does this, those clients talk to other people. She'll have a waiting list to get in that home. But because RCF owners don't typically do that, they take the first thing that comes, afraid that they're not going to get anything afterwards. They don't want an empty room that costs them money, so they settle. And by settling, things don't last as long, that kind of thing. So you got to take risks. You got to make mistakes and move forward. And anything you do in life, especially this business. Last thing, and I got something else I want to tell you, and I'll let you go. Stay motivated by attaching whys to your business. If you don't have any whys to your business, I guarantee you're not getting leads. If you have whys, it's because of your wife, your kids, your loved ones, your church, your faith, tithe, whatever, a nonprofit you're helping, someone down the street, whatever it is you're doing, you attach a why to it, it's going to motivate you. And you won't have any problem getting leads because you'll be getting on the phone, talking, bam, you're calling people, you're texting people. You won't have any problem doing social media because that's your why. You got to do it because you got to get a lead. You won't have any problem going into independent communities and talking to them and saying, man, if you think about me, if they get to a place of high acuity or you can't provide care anymore, we call me. You won't have any problem during your personal time. You spend 10, 15 minutes at a crack thinking about your business and how you can be different and set apart from others. And all these different things I'm doing, you won't have a problem because it's your why. It will motivate you. And that's simplistic, I know, but I can't tell you how many people I talk to, they get lost in the woods. They get lost in the whole deal of why does this not work and this and that. What's your why? And when you get a why that's deep down in your heart, you will move. I'm not saying act in desperation because that's a different thing, but you will move in desperation. You will begin to do things that you would not normally do because of your why. Guarantee it. Those things you need to do if you're not getting leads. Okay. Now, last but not least, if you're a student already, I want you to, and I'll leave you with this. You can send me a question in chat if you want. You can text me. But if you're a student, apply the 80-10-10 rule, please. Okay, go back and watch that into an academy. That's another area that's a little pro tip for me. 80% of my time is networking. Now, mine's a little bit different because of the amount of volume we're doing, but I still try to hold true to this as best I can. It's not always 80. I know. If you came and watched me for a week, you'd be like, well, Matt, you don't spend 80% doing your marketing. Well, I know it's hard to do everything I'm doing 80% marketing. But if I'm just starting or I'm not getting many leads or none at all, and I'm trying to get that $10,000 a month potential, 80%'s got to be marketing, 10% getting your referral agreements out, 10% education, going back into the academy. I'm YouTubing videos. I'm bringing up some documentation from nights, whatever that thing is. I get my email and I read some articles. Just stimulate yourself, get knowledgeable, because you'll be more confident, because you'll be competent. You'll know what you're talking about. You should be growing every day in this industry. If you're not, you're going to fall behind. You've got to be challenging to yourself. If you're not a student right now and you're listening to this, start your six-figure business today. Take advantage of the financing program. Go to the website, do all that kind of stuff. So, guys, I hope this was beneficial to you. Kind of losing my voice right now. I think I'm smelling the salmon downstairs with my wife. The vent from the kitchen is like right in my office. So I'm smelling all that right now too. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. You can text me. You see my number somewhere on the screen. Let me know how you're doing. If you got questions, seriously, if you're a student, I'll help you close some deals. I don't know everything, but I tell you what, I've experienced a lot. And I have been, in my own eyes, successful, but not as successful as I can be or I'm going to be. I'm constantly challenging myself, not beating myself up, but challenging myself to go the extra mile, do that thing that nobody else is doing. Don't do it like everyone else. Don't pass out the brochures and the hard candies. Be somebody different. Be somebody fresh. Be that fresh voice when somebody talks to you. They'll hear your passion. They'll understand your, just like you're something different about you. And they'll sense that, and they'll love you for that. And they'll appreciate you and trust you. And I'm telling you, all that works for me. So God bless, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Like I said, you can reach out to me. Have a great evening.